Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading from the r/entitledpeople subreddit, so let's jump into it. When I was 16, I bought my first car. Then my sister wanted it. When I was a teenager, I was originally saving to buy a moped to have fun riding around town on. But on my 15th birthday, my dad gave me an engine kit for my bicycle and convinced me to get a learner's permit and to keep saving to buy a car instead. I continued doing odd jobs and earning money any way I could. My dad asked his brother, my uncle, to teach me how to drive, as he worked as a driving instructor for a while in the 90s. We started lessons at a local community college, where I drove around the parking lots and circled the campus. Then we went to country roads that very few cars frequented. This repeated itself for a while, until we finally decided to try cities and highways, and I slowly got pretty good at driving. Right after my 16th birthday rolled around, we went to the DMV to schedule a driving test. I passed on my first try, thanks to all the practice I got beforehand. Not long after getting my license, my dad decided it was time I worked part-time for him at his business after school. I was happy, because it would make me double the money I was already saving from odd jobs. I started at what was referred to as the bottom rung. I was doing the cleaning around the office, filing paperwork, handing out mail to employees, and just doing any basic task that needed doing. Before I knew it, I doubled my savings. While I had chosen to live with my father and my sister didn't, my dad still had a room prepared for my sister when she came to visit. She loved to game on the game systems we had at Dad's house. There was a PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and her personal favorite at the time, an Xbox 360. Dad also had a decent-sized flat-screen TV to play the games on in his den. That was practically a luxury back then, as those TVs were pretty expensive. Sis would pretty much spend all Saturday night playing games in the den and drinking Coke. That's probably the main and only reason she even wanted to come visit, since she didn't have an Xbox or flat screen TV at our mom's house. Eventually, after just 6 months of working at my dad's business, he approached me with an offer to find a car I liked. He said if I found a good, reliable used one that was the right price, he'd help me buy it and would put it on his insurance. I was ecstatic, so I started looking at local ads and found a 98 Toyota Camry with under 50,000 miles on it. It was in great shape, aside that the rear bumper had been dented, a broken window, along with a badly cracked windshield because it was vandalized/broken into. The seller offered it to me at $3,500 with the damage. My dad talked him down to $3,000 because of the amount it would cost to get it fixed. Long story short, we bought the car, and it went right to a local auto body mechanic my dad was friends with. He went to a junkyard and pulled parts of another Camry of the same model, and we used them to fix my Camry. When we went to pick up the car, it looked almost brand new. I was overjoyed and thanked him and my father profusely. That car was my main ride for the next 10 years, if you can believe it. I eventually sold it to a cousin on my dad's side for his first car, but that's not what you're here to read. When my sister first saw the car in the driveway, she asked whose it was. Hey, whose car is this? Is someone else visiting? Nope. That's my car. No way. Yes way. I just bought it, and Dad helped me get it fixed. It runs like new. My sister then just got really quiet and went back in the house to play more video games. She didn't really speak to me for the rest of the time she was visiting that week. I started driving the car to and from high school, and because I was of driving age before most people in my grade, I got a fair amount of attention for it. Many of my classmates were asking for rides and whatnot, but me being a stickler for the rules, didn't give any rides because I legally wasn't supposed to for a few months, since I was a teen driver. My sister, however, had complained to our mother after going back home about my new car. Somehow she couldn't process the fact that I'd gotten a car and she didn't, even though she is 3 years younger than me and was only 13 at the time. She started making a stink to our mom about how she wanted a car too. My mother called me on my cell phone to yell at me for starting this problem. problem. I told her there was no problem. I bought a car with the money I earned, and now I'm driving it. And if sis wants a car too, then she can either work hard and save up like I did, or hope she gets one as a gift. Mother just got mad at me and said it really wasn't fair. I pointed out that there really wasn't a fairness issue at all, as sis wasn't even old enough to get a learner's permit yet, let alone a car. She just said I wasn't being supportive of my sister's feelings, and that when she is old enough to drive, I should at least lend her the car when she needs it, or give her driving lessons. I bluntly said that wasn't happening, as I bought it with my own money, and it would be put in my name. Plus, she couldn't dictate what I do with the car because I don't live with her anymore. My mom just angrily huffed, called me a jackass, and hung up on me. I thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't. My sister started visiting less after that. She got mad at me one day for washing my car outside. The following is paraphrased from what I can remember. "What are you doing?" I'd say it's pretty obvious, but I'm washing my car. Yeah, I get you're doing that, but why bother to do it yourself? You can just take it through a car wash. And where's the fun in that? At least I don't have to spend $10 to run it through a machine if I just take the time to wash it myself every so often. You're just showing off because you have a car. Showing off to who? You and I are the only ones here. Oh, come on. All my friends keep talking about you and your stupid car. It's not even a cool car, just a shiny silver turd. And you won't even give me a ride in it yet. Because I'm mandated by law not to have any passengers for several months, and it may be just a Camry, but I like it, and I really don't care what you think. My sister then, in a fit of anger, picked up some dirt off the ground and chucked it at the side of my car. I just sprayed the spot with the hose, and it looked like it was never there. She stomped back in the house and didn't talk to me again. After that, she only came over one more time. When she came to visit, she always had a big backpack with her because she'd bring clothes and other stuff in it. She didn't keep many things at my dad's house. Anyways, the next morning, when she left, she was wearing the same clothes. I thought it was unusual because she never did that back then. She said she'd just die if she wore the same outfit 2 days in a row. I later found out the reason for this. When I came into the den, the PS2, GameCube, and original Xbox were destroyed. The flat screen TV had part of its screen smashed. The Xbox 360 was missing. I then realized she'd smuggled it out in her backpack. She brought an empty backpack specifically to take the Xbox. I checked the various games for the systems, and sis had removed a bunch of the discs from their cases and stole them as well. She stole all of the memory cards as well. When I told my dad, he was livid. He called my mom, and she actually said that since I got the car, letting my sister keep the Xbox 360 and the games she stole was the least he could do. Then she smugly said that sis didn't want to come visit anymore. Dad angrily told her she better stop sounding so happy about it, or he was gonna make her pay for all the damages. My mom just snorted and finally allowed him to talk to my sister. My dad was pretty heartbroken sis had done all of that. He'd been trying so hard to get her to appreciate him more. But sis admitted over the phone that she hated him for divorcing mom, and her taking the Xbox 360 and destroying the TV and other game systems was, as our mother called it, compensation for her pain. Dad could have called his lawyer to sue for more custody rights, but he believed that if she didn't want to be there, he wouldn't force her. From then on over the next decade, I barely saw either my sister or mother. Dad didn't bother to try and get the Xbox 360 back. He said that it and the other stuff sis broke were just things that could be replaced, but I could tell he was really hurt by what my mom and sister had done. He actually left my sister's room pretty much untouched for the next few years, but she never came back to use it. From the way my sister is now though, you'd never guess she was the same person. She's extremely ashamed of her actions back then and wishes she could take it all back and apologize to Dad. Unfortunately, she can't since he passed away some time ago. We visited his grave recently and she cried over it. I'm really not sure how to end this story. I don't even have a moral quip or something to say. So, if you didn't yet realize this story was posted by Tom, who had another story we read a couple of weeks ago. This story, to be exact, which was an absolute doozy. So if you haven't watched that one yet, and you're wanting to know more about the mother and sister, and how the sister's attitude did a complete 180, then definitely check out this video. I'll link it now and in the description. Tom has had a crazy upbringing, and I'm not surprised his sister did this. We learned in his last story that his mother enabled his sister horribly, and she got whatever she wanted, whilst was treated like Cinderella. As for this story though, if I were the dad, I definitely would have sued for compensation. Maybe the sister would have learned somewhat of a lesson. I think she turned out to be so entitled because it seems like she was never reprimanded for anything. OP's father seems like he was such a wonderful person though, and I'm glad OP had him so he could be away from his narc mom and sister. But anyways, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed that Entitled People story. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!